Hello, welcome back. In this segment, I wanted to revisit the program we already discussed in the previous segment. And I wanted to see how these two functions look like at the assembly level. Remember, there is a flaw in this function because we are subtracting two unsigned integers. And we know for sure they are always greater than or equal to 0. Okay, therefore, this program is wrong. Okay, this particular function is not going to be same as this function, although they look similar from a mathematical standpoint. Okay, so the question is, how does the assembly look like for the first function versus the assembly for the second function? So we can take a look at the assembly code for string longer first. Let me show you the assembly code. So remember, the string longer function takes two string pointers and computes the string length of both. If the first string length is greater than the second, it declares the first string is longer than the second string. Okay, so let's look at the disassembly for this now. It's the first function. So I will annotate the most important part. Here is the call to the first string length function, and the result will be stored in EAX, and eventually we store it back to EBX. Okay, so inside EBX, we will have the string length of the first pointer. Okay, let's say string length of the first pointer, which in our program was yes. So logically, string length of yes is computed and stored in EBX. And then we do the same for the second string. Okay, so the second string is stored in second string length is stored in EAX because the string length function returns string length, which is part of EAX. Okay, now we are doing comparison between the string length of yes with the string length of t. Okay, so this is basically, if I can use the notation here, we are comparing is the string length of yes, right, greater than the string length of t. Okay, and if the first string is greater than the second string, set above means one bit will be updated, right, with the value 1, meaning in the entire EAX register, we go to the least significant byte and replace it by 1. Okay, that means the program correctly returns 1 if the first string is larger than the second string. If the first string happened to be smaller than the second string, we will set the least significant bit of EAX to 0. Okay, that is the meaning of set A instruction. All right, this is clear now. Let's now go to the second function and look at the second function. First C code and then come back to assembly code. Second function actually says, compute the string length of first string, compute the string length of second. If the difference is greater than 0, return 1, otherwise return 0. That is what the intention. Okay. Now let's look at the assembly code for string length version 2. Okay. So it has the same structure more or less, except one difference, important difference. Earlier in the first version, we saw set A, but in this version, we see set NE. That means set not equal. Okay. If you now look at the structure of the code, assembly code, we are computing the string length of the first string, store it into EBX, computing the string length of the second string, which is part of EAX now, and the length. And now we are comparing the string lengths. Instead of comparing the string length of this first string greater than second string, we are only checking is the first string length, okay, not equal to the second string length. Okay. What is the reason for this? If they are not equal, right, the lengths are different, you will set 1, which means the program only works correctly for the scenario that the first string length is greater than the second string length. In that case, the string length will be different and we will return 1. But if the first string length is smaller than the second string length, right, of course, in that case also, we are going to return 1. because the string lengths are not equal, because we're using set not equal. So that is the reason there's a bug. So the second function is the same as the first function, only if the first string is greater than the second string length, or they both are equal string lengths. Okay. Otherwise, the second function is buggy if the first string length is smaller than the second string length. Then we are going to return 1, which is not what intended. Okay. All right. So this is how the assembly code looks for the second function. We are using set NE. For the first function, we were using set A. At least the assembly code that was generated was like that. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.